Hello. Welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me as I explore the amazing, incredible, diverse, wide world of pens. And you see rotating before you two pens, and you may say, why are these two pens rotating in front of me? They have one thing in common. Well, more than one, but one particularly, which is going to be the focus of this review. I bought these pens on Amazon. And I got Amazon Prime delivery. And I'm extremely pleased, happy, joyful to get these pens. They do also have a couple other things in common. They're made in China. Say no more. They're called black pens, and I think that's obvious from the visuals. And we could go on with gold trim and et cetera, et cetera. One's all metal and one's turned acrylic. You may recognize the Fat Boy as being a Majohn Q1. And the black one is a Hongdian. Here's the listings on Amazon. And as I plan to do on this video, is we're going to go into depth on buying Chinese pens on Amazon using these two as examples. Let's just see if we can get a closer look at these two pens. I have to admit that, well, you know I love the Q1s, but the Hongdian is extremely well made, incredibly good looking, and we may see how it writes. We know how the Q1 writes, but stay tuned. Be back. So looking for fountain pens on Amazon, I generally go into here and go to Office Products and just search for fountain pens. You can see there's a lot of options that they offer to you, so if you wanted to refine your search, you could. So we'll see some fountain pens come up. A great variety from many sources. Some of them have promotions on them. And we're going to try this search. And you can see it comes up with something. So now we see the Q1 in a couple forms. There's also the T1. A nice, fairly complete collection of Majohn pens. There's the M800 with the Bach nib. And when you look at these, you have to be careful about how they're shipped. So let's just look at this one because it's a great price and it's sponsored. So we'll see it's Prime free 1 day. So you'll get this delivered quickly. If you want something very quickly, you have to make certain it's going to be a Prime delivery. So hopefully that gives you some idea. You know, here's another pen that is a lot of popular. Here's the Kikuno M600s. This is that beautiful Wonkai mini in green. And here is an example of one that's free delivery, but it probably is shipping from China because it's November 12th now, and the delivery is the 6th to the 28th. So just be aware of that before you make the purchase. If you want something delivered quickly, you'll need to see if it is a Prime delivery item. Here we have the listing on Amazon for the Q1. Price is a few dollars higher, but well within what they charge. And there's a nice lot of marketing material, feel the temperature of writing, to make you feel comfortable about buying the Q1 on Amazon. Always good to check out customer reviews. Doesn't hurt to read what other people have to say. And here's one top comment that I found to be interesting to read. One of the best things about shopping on Amazon is they're going to give you suggestions. other things that you might want to buy, considering you like the Q1. So here's some of the suggestions that come up on my Amazon. Your Amazon might be different because I'm certain there's an algorithm that determines what you like to buy. And the seller on Amazon also sells a lot of the other Majohn fountain pens, and this is a pretty good series. So you can buy the whole set on Amazon. A viewer talked about this pen, the Hongdian1845, and sent me a comment that piqued my interest, so I bought one on AliExpress. They do a good job of promoting, like Amazon does. But I went to Amazon and I found this black and gold version, and I said, I think I'm going to get that to go with the silver version that I ordered on AliExpress. It's a nice description on Amazon. Again, always good to read the descriptions, to peruse the whole listing. You never know what you might find interesting. And they also list the specs. And you notice it comes in a metal box. That's nice. And we should also look at the reviews as we did on the Q1. Now, these are a little bit more favorable, but there's only 5 reviews, so that's not quite enough to have any decision-making process. And here's an interesting review that I thought was very apropos and very on the money. And of course, Amazon is going to give you some ideas. If you're interested in this Hongdian Black 1845, here's some other pens that you might want to consider. I enjoy shopping on Amazon, AliExpress, and eBay. I will be doing a more in-depth review of this Hongdian 1845 when I get the silver version of the pen, but I feel I should write with something in the video, so I disassembled the pen, flushed out the nib and feed, and that is a very attractive nib. It is an extra fine, so it's not something I usually fall in love with, but I have learned to expand my appreciation. The other thing I notice is this feed appears to be made of a little bit different resin, maybe more ink friendly. Yeah, sometimes you need to align things. The section is great. There's that little O-ring there at the bottom, so when you screw down the barrel, you get that nice feeling when it finally closes. This is metal, and they did texture it. We'll see if that makes the writing better. I took the converter apart because it has a spring in it, which will be removed. And the more I handle, touch, and feel this pen, the more I just get blown away by the quality level of it. And I really thank my YouTube viewer that recommended me to look at this pen. That black fluted design feels good in the hand, looks great to the eye. Say no more. Yeah, it's a metal pen, so everything is metal and brass. So for those of you that seem to want no metal on plastic, this is all metal on metal. So you know I'm adventurous, so this ink has not been in a pen, and we will put it in this pen. And I think it's great because it's gold glitter and a black ink, perfect for the Hongdian, which is black and gold. As we bring up the color card, it's definitely in the black family, and it definitely has some interesting glitter associated with it. The chromatography shows a kind of light black, no water resistance. But the real key is, how does it look when we use the nib to put this ink on paper? People comment on getting a good fill in a converter, and as you can see, I got a very good fill. So the first time I pulled up ink, there was a pretty good gap. It filled like maybe 2/3 of the converter. I went back down, came back up again slowly, and I got a very, very good fill. But being OCD, I went back down again, back up a third time. So whenever I do a fill, I go up and down at least twice, and usually 3 times, especially the first time with a pen. So now we're ready to write with the Hongdian. Let's get the elephant discussed first. Let's uncap it. 1, 2, 3. Almost 3.5 turns. Way too many. Fine threads there. You know, it seals well. There's a nice plastic liner inside the cap. But it's just too many turns. We'll give you dimensions. And as we expect, it does post deeply and well, and doesn't make for too long a pen. You do notice the weight of that cap, but it's something I could live with. The other thing is, I've written with this pen a lot now, and yes, that section can be slightly slippery, but it's certainly something I can live with and write with. And I can write for fairly long periods of time. That section feels comfortable, and I really like the look of the pen. So let's see how that black glitter ink works in this extra fine nib. The nib is smooth. There's a decent amount of feedback, but I think that is attributed to this as a new nib. I could have done some smoothing on it, but the more that I write with it, the better it feels on paper. And this Fabriano paper has a little bit of texture to it, so it adds to that feedback. You can push the nib and you get a little bit more ink, but as you saw, you can get some ink starvation. And I didn't spring it or anything. So as you probably know, I like this pen, and when we get the silver one, we'll go into more depth. But let's rate this pen as it is. I'm going to give it a 9.6. 2 checks for the fact that it really is a classy looking pen. 1 check for that extra fine nib because it does work well. And 1 check for fit, finish, all the little details that make this a very nice, enjoyable writing instrument. We've reached the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate every viewer. I hope you enjoy your pens. Find a pen and an ink combo that really floats your boat. We've reached the end of this video. I hope it finds you safe, healthy, and happy. We're going to say bye, but there's a lot of content in the pipeline, so as I have time, more videos will come. Stay tuned.